Hello everybody, my name is Rextus.
And I'm Soulgale.
And welcome back to Hanuna.
Ooh.
Wow, so I actually did a little bit of research, and there's still stuff to do within the white packs.
Whoa.
This is so cool. And apparently there's some interactions that I completely missed along the way as well. So this doesn't show any map, but I believe we're supposed to actually go back. No. Why is there a barrier there? There's a barrier
Why
there.
is there a barrier now?
No. What?
What? Oh, come on.
That's it? We can't go backwards?
Let's see if it gets us.
It only gets us to this area, I believe.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
Well, that's gonna suck. No way. Are you kidding
What?
me?
Oh, I got it.
Who would ever find that?
Who would ever find
No
that?
one would ever find that.
No.
Interesting. To witness secrets inside, one must endure the hardest punishment. Okay.
Why?
That is absurd to try to find this area.
Yeah.
It's to the point where they're making it so that no one can actually find it. You can't find it. You know, how is it relevant to the game? To some point, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you can't find it,
Eh.
how is anyone meant to play it if it's not obvious? That is so
Oh,
weird.
come on. Ah.
No. Oh, I did it.
Oh.
Okay. Here's an analysis on the first section. Okay. So when you've got the second blade has, I would have to say, a 20% chance, or if not, a good quarter chance, that by the time you get to the second blade's in the wrong position, that it'll just hit you automatically. So 20% of your run, if not 25, a good quarter of your runs, you'll just die because of that second blade. Then you're going to want to know this, because when you get past that blade and you get into that area where the bugs are at, you got those 3 bugs, you go pop, 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 you get up and you go left up against that wall, and you got a good amount of breather time for that wall. I love that. That's
Yeah.
a good breather time for that wall. What's bad is then you have to go down through that blade. I would call it quits at that point. I would just be like, you go down through the blade, that's it. You get done with it. No, you have to fully drift left. Before you hit that one blade, you do a small jump. Small jump, that's all you do. And then you keep on drifting left until there's a hole that you fall down through, and that's where you get here. You drift left. You just completely, after you pass those two saws on the far left, after you get through the bugs, you just drift left, and that's all you do. So that's vital information for you so you can be able to pass this one, but at the same time, I would have called it quits at those two blades. As soon as you hit those two blades, that's it. This makes it really hard to do when you have all this other stuff to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see if it doesn't save it from here on out.
Oh, I hope so.
I hope so. If not, this is going to be it. Because I am not doing this whole thing over and over and over again for 6 hours straight trying to get this.
Yeah.
So we will see. Okay, it does save my position.
Oh, goody. Oh my goodness, I'm still on the first part.
I made it to the second one. Or the third one, actually.
Oh, are you kidding me?
No, after that it seems like it gets easier.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my, I did not want to know that.
I got a little glimpse of that.
So I have to go left to unlock this gate to go right. Hopefully it's just a two-parter. Where you do two parts and then that's it. I made it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I have to calculate this one out. Dash. No, it's just a simple jump, jump, jump. Fall. Dash and jump. Okay. I'm just gonna have to ignore the bottom. That's it. That's it. Okay. There are no benches. There are no benches.
Figured.
Okay, I did it a second time. That is hard. Be back in a second. This is the hardest I've ever had it.
Yeah.
I actually retract that. I have actually had some that are actually just as hard, or if not harder. So I don't know which is harder, but this is definitely one of the hardest things I've actually had. Okay. Okay, my second time in this area. Okay, again, this gate is locked. I'm gonna make sure I'm pulled up.
I did it!
You did it?
I did
Okay.
it!
So this part, just make sure you're fold up, make sure you're not going to die, and then just really take your time. Super dash on that one, but it's really easy on that one to get to this phase. Just make sure you just don't die, because you don't want to do your first part again.
No.
I'm going to see what's up with this next part. Who knows? If it's too hard to the point where it's like, this is ridiculous, I am just going to call it at that point.
Explain to me this one.
Easy.
Okay.
Last part hard, this part easy. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, right? Okay. What the heck? So yeah, this part is the part that actually might be impossible for me to actually do, because it's so tight. I did not mean that at all. What the... Okay, I'm here. Wherever here is. Nice.
Woo! I got it.
Okay, let's go ahead and hit this lever.
Okay. What did that do?
Did we hit the lever? Make sure you hit the lever.
I'm hitting the lever.
Okay. Oh my goodness. We will go through all this in depth, definitely. Okay, I'm heading down. Okay, that goes here, and that opens up this gate. Nice. Okay. Making sure everything's working right now. Looks like everything's still working.
This is not the end.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
No.
This is not the end.
Oh, no.
Oh, we're gonna have to ride the blade up.
Oh my goodness.
I'm still at this.
Oh my goodness. I had to get rid of my mic there for a second because I had to focus. Oh my goodness. This is not the end, is it?
Probably not.
Ah. Oh my goodness, I made it. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna call it there because that's all I can do at this point. Like, I'm sure you can beat the point that you're at. It's not that hard. It's just a lot of trial and error. But unfortunately, this is all the time that I really want to give to this, and what do I think of the pain path? Too hard.
More like the path of agony.
No. Too hard. It's to the point of bullet time. This is too hard. You have to have so many elements that are actually in the exact place that you need them. Because for this one, you have to dash. When you do your first dash, you have to make sure that the spikes come up exactly when you dash. The timing has to be perfect. Otherwise, you can't slice downward to be able to jump on to the next area. And then the same thing with the saw. The saw has to be at the downward position when you approach the saw. The same thing at the very start of the entire path of agony is that saw, the second saw that you have at the very start, has to be at the correct position so you can get past.
Yeah.
Otherwise, 20% of your runs are going to be complete failures. Okay? So, in my book, yes, this is the hardest, but it's also near impossible. And just the amount of time we've even took, like this is probably about 5 hours, 6 hours of continuously doing this.
Yes.
It's very painful, but it's too long. If I had a point where I could sit down at a bench and I could save it and I could come back to it and just do a small section at a time, this would be fine. This would be okay. But when I'm having to do the whole thing in one go and one session and sit down and be able to do the entire thing in one sit down, you're wasting a lot of my time as a player to go through all of this trouble just to finish something that's absurd. And what's even the reward at the very end? Nothing. This to me is too much to do. It is a challenge, yeah, but it's too much to do and too critical to even proceed. And like, I don't have a lot of time right now. Well, it's too late for me to continue to do this. I have other things I can do and other things I have to do besides this. But the thing is it's gone on for too long. It's taken too long. Hollow Knight, you've taken too long. For the Path of Pain, I give this an F. Failure. It doesn't even reach. Yes, on the antagonizing scale, if you're really, really good at something, you can continue. But again, with the whole saw position, with the blades, it's timing. You can get the blade timing down. That is not RNG. What is RNG is the saw and the saw position. Again, like I mentioned at the very start of the match, that saw's position has to be either up or down, and you can't tell which, and you don't know when it's going to be which, and it's completely random. It's the same thing as Melania. It's completely random what you're going to get out of her. And the same thing with this. Completely random. It's not even to the point of pain. It's more so the chance of the roll of the dice. What's going to happen and when is it going to happen? Are you sure that's when it's going to happen? Because I'm not sure when it's going to happen. And I got pretty far. I got to the point, I almost think that I almost got to the end. I'll have to check and see how far I got to it, to the end. But I'm pretty sure, like, this is the end. Because, like, this is absurd.
Yeah.
This is absurd. But yeah, if I had to sit down with a developer, what's the things that are wrong with this? At what point do you call it a line? Number one, the point of RNG. The blades. Again, this is the saw blade. If it's a point of RNG chance that I'm going to beat the boss, a randomized chance that I'm going to beat the boss, depending on their moveset, depending on when the saw blade's going to be in the right position so you can actually do what you're supposed to be doing to be able to beat the boss, to be able to beat the big game. It's a point of RNG. It's a point of rolling the dice. Oh, it finally didn't happen. Now I can finally beat the boss. I can finally get through this section because now that the roll of the dice is now 6 and now I've passed that point, you know, it's to the chance, it's to the luck that something happens perfectly. And the same thing with the saw blades. They have to be at the exact point that you need them to be so that you're not going to get hit, so you can actually pass the test, so you can continue. And this is the point of randomness. And that's one thing you have to eliminate from this entire, if you want this to actually work, you have to eliminate any randomness through it. And this is completely random, especially going past this point, like the blades, that going up and down, that's completely, like, you can time that. That's not something that's unheard of. That's something that you can definitely do. But when you're talking about the saw blades and they have to be at the correct position when you approach them, when you get to that point, they have to be in the downward position. Completely at random chance. I'm going to be doing this 100, 200 times. And then the one lucky chance that I get, then I'm going to finally get it. And I'm going to go, oh, I did it. Well, it's random chance, dude. What else is it? It's random chance. It's random chance that you're finally going to get to that point. So I'd have to say, number one, that's what you would eliminate. And number two is time. How long I've been going through this and how much time it actually takes to do the entire run. Sitting down and doing this, it's probably been about 5-6 hours now.
Yeah.
If you have a challenge like this, it needs to be completable within 90 minutes. That's the time frame I put to any of these trial tests. So if you have to sit down and you have to do it within a certain amount of existing time, how long would you say something has to be done within? 90 minutes. 90 minutes. Usually we only go for like about 40 minutes or something like that per episode. But if I have to put a time to something, how long it takes for the player to actually do something, 90 minutes, 1 hour and exactly a half. That's at the point where beyond that point is taking too long. It's actually nice to get things done within 6 to 12 minutes. That's a good point to actually, when it's taking me 6 hours, 5 hours to sit down and do something, and I can see definitely it's to the point of RNG, because I can see those saw blades, and those saw blades are completely randomized, whether they're up or they're down or what position they're at. Same thing with Melania. It's completely randomized what animation she's going to pull out of her hat. When you look at Grim, why I really highly love that boss fight is because it's not randomized. It's consistent. You get the same moveset every single time. It's very easy to tell which move he's going to pull out of his hat. And it's very easy to take out each of those. When you look at Melania, she's a multi-phasial boss. When she gets the second phase, it completely switches up the attacks. It's completely randomized. And especially within her moveset, she's got quite a few different abilities. I don't know, some abilities, but it's very, very tricky to dodge any single one of those abilities within Melania. So it's near impossible to even beat it with melee attacks or even going with a melee style build. It's more apt to do a ranged style build, but even within melee build, you're going to be running at 200 times. Like I've been doing this and I've been dying at least 200 times, falling into the pit and dying 200 times. And the point of reset is when I get respawned here. And I've been doing this, well, if you're talking about how many times I've been respawned, I've probably done this 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I've probably died 1,000 times. 1,000 times is probably about the amount of time that I give it. I give it quits. Because I usually go, you know what, this is taking too long, but I've probably at least been reset and have taken mass damage and reset at least 1,000 times, if not or more, during this session. But again, with Melania, you cannot evade those attacks, and especially with melee, it is very hard to do so, and you're going to take at least 200 plus times. I died 200 times trying to kill her, and that's just to the point of RNG.
I didn't die.
You didn't die a single time because you were ranged, because you had an OP stagger that completely held her down like a fish out of water, and she can't do anything.
No.
Okay, so where's the comparison? Where is the same deal on melee side? Where do they get their stagger break? Because not even parrying attack would you even break Melania's stats. So where is the equilibrium there? Where is it the same for melee as it is for ranged? That is completely broken. And at some point you just gotta go, you know what? Just put a switch on the outside of the boss room and just say this boss is completely ridiculous to actually beat from the developer's side, and just go, hey, you know what? There's a switch that you can hit, and Melania just goes to baby mode. She just T-poses and you can just go up there and kill her. Straight up. I get that there are players that are really, really, really good at the game and they can just straight up kill Melania, and I'm not one of those players. I'm not one of those players that's going to be going through this and going, hey, you know what? I can spend thousands of hours playing this game. I'm going to be one of those players that's, hey, I want to play it. If it's too difficult, if it's too hard, I'm not going to say it's too difficult or too hard, because I've had difficult and I have had hard before.
Yeah.
But if it's to the point of randomness, not, oh, it's difficult, oh, it's hard. If it's to the point of randomness, same thing as bullet time, it's random whether you get hit or not. You have to be pinpoint precision. I don't even believe in some bullet time games that they've even beaten the game because of how hard it is. No human player has ever beaten them. Okay. So if you're talking about, oh, how hard, it's literally random. It's literally to the point you can't humanly do it, or it takes too long, or it's completely random. In this case, I would say it's completely random. If it wasn't random, I wouldn't be having such of a hissy fit, if you want to call it a hissy fit. But the blade, especially the saw blades, completely random. whether they're up, whether they're down. I can get the timing on everything else, but when it comes to that saw blade, again, this is completely random. You have to wait for it to be in the exact position, and you have no indication of where the saw blade is. And like I said, as soon as you enter into the screen, there could be something that you could do that the saw blade always resets when you have the saw blade enter into the portion of the screen, that the saw blade is always at the bottom of the screen. You could do that. And at that point, I would say that you eliminate all chances of RNG at that point. But this is not the point. The point is that the saw blade is completely random. It could be up, it could be down, it could be whatever, and you're going to get killed, and you're going to get reset, and you're going to have to do this again and again and again. And then what's the percent chance that you actually get players through this point in your game? But I'd have to say, to top it all off, just the time. I've been sitting here for 6 hours. It's taken more than 6 hours. I'm pretty good at this point where it's like, hey, I could keep on going. I could keep on, but I got other things to do, like I've said.
Yeah.
And sitting down and it taking this long, and it's just to the point. I've got better things to do. I've got other games that I could be playing, and I've got other objectives on my list other than just Hollow Knight. So for this, like I've said before, time 90 minutes. If you're gonna do anything, time 90 minutes. If it takes longer than 90 minutes, I'm gonna give you a fail on it, because it's taking longer than 90 minutes. I do not mind Grim. Grim
was nice.
Yeah, but I think Grim we took about 2 hours to beat, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. An extra 30 minutes, whatever. But at some point I have to go, what's a good time limit and what is a good point? To me, even taking 2 hours sometimes just goes over the line. And I'm just like, you know what? 90 minutes is a good point. I don't want to be taking a huge amount of time. And I've done this long enough. I've done farming long enough.
Yeah.
I know what time I go, hey, you know what? I got other things to do. This is taking too long. 90 minutes. So if it takes beyond 90 minutes, I give you a fail. If it's to the point of RNG, I give you a fail. Farming, it's fine. Farming is fine. But if it's to the point of RNG and it takes longer than 90 minutes in a farm, let's say that a sixth of the time you might be able to get whatever the farm you need, but if it takes longer than 60 minutes to that point, that's a fail. So yeah, I don't know what to say about that, because that's just kind of me, and that's kind of my terms. If I was developing a game, and if I was making a game for people to play, and it was to actually have fun and not to be critical like this, because this is very critical when you're doing this. You need to actually hit the spikes at the right time. You have to actually dodge at the right time. You have to jump at the right time. You have to make sure you avoid dangers at the right time. Very critical. And when you're looking at something like this, I give you 90 minutes. I give you, no RNG. You can't have randomness happening during the entirety of the event. But when farming comes into effect, like farming, it could take a little bit longer. I still say about 90 minutes though, and especially when you're looking at a farm you can apply within 90 minutes, and it can be done within 90 minutes. And that's actually something that I can congratulate Warframe for doing. They do a really good job with the farms. They can keep it underneath the 90 minutes, but there are quite a few different farms that I do see and I go, hey, you know what? This is like 8 hours, 10 hours farm. This needs to get nerfed. But the nice thing is that it's a semi-permanent farm versus just a temporary farm. Because even League of Legends, it's all temporary farms.
Yeah.
You don't get everything permanently. It's completely randomized through every single game event. And when you look at Warframe, it's like, hey, I get this permanently. So spending 8 hours, 10 hours to farm something over a period of time actually isn't that bad, because all you have to do is take a day and 2 hours to do whatever you need to do, and over a duration of 4 to 5 days, and you get that item. You don't have to do that farm anymore. So I like that, because it is a semi-permanent farm. You keep the items that you get, and that's it. That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
Bayesh. Well, I am sad because I haven't been able to complete this.
I'm also sad.
Yeah. yeah, I'm just really sad. I was hoping to actually beat this, but especially with the amount of time that we're given, and that I've got other things to do. It is past 5 hours. I got other things to do. With the time that we've been given, and especially with the extremity of being critical, it's just very, very hard to do. And it's not even critical, it's literally random, the point of where that blade is. And it's gone on long enough. So, well, is this all the time we have for this episode?
Unfortunately, yes.
6 hours of time.
6 hours, yeah.
We've been sitting here for 6 hours trying to get this done.
It feels like more than 6 hours.
So, I'm just gonna give the long and short of it. Path of Pain fails.
Yep.
It needs to be not randomized. It can definitely be done, but if you're gonna be to this point of, hey, you know, you need to keep on doing this, if it were me, put in benches so that players can come back and they can keep on trying.
Also, in that area that I was in before, you get no platform to land on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want a platform for a breather.
There are several points throughout this, especially 6 hours. There are several points. I want to see how far I got through with this. But there are several points where you could have added in a bench. All these guys right here, these little statues, change them out with benches. Straight up.
Or just put a bench right in front of him.
Yeah, just put a bench right in front of him. Still have the statue, but just put a bench right in front of him. But still, put in a bench. Because especially right now, like, we have gotten to this point. The game will always reload us at this point.
Yeah.
Why not put in a bench so that players can come back to this point, or they could even return back to the overworld just in case they want to quit out. But have the option to continue.
Lovely.
Yeah. But again, this is the point of failure. Hollow Knight, you do not, you know, like, you have to sit down for 6 hours, 5 hours to do this. I wish there was a bench. I wish I could come back, but as soon as I close out of the game, it will completely restart me at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I am not doing this again.
No.
So, well, is that all the time we have for this episode?
Unfortunately, yes.
And we will see you guys in the very next video. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!